ladies and gentlemen. In today's talk, I will be revealing how Australia's medicinal cannabis policies are deliberately set to fail and demoralise patients. G'day, Charles Mackenzie from Infected Blood Australia, and I'm coming to you from the HQ of our campaign here in Sydney, New South Wales. What is the campaign? It's the campaign for contaminated blood victims, the tens of thousands of Australians who've been infected and affected by this scandal, people who had HIV or hepatitis C transferred to them by way of blood transfusion or blood treatments. And I'm lying on my side now because of my nerve function problem, which stops my parts of my body, my motor function from happening properly, and stops my right lung from lifting properly. So I can get a full breath on my left, which is why I lie like this. And I'm currently being left lying like this, lying on my side, I should say, lying like this, lying on my side for 4 days on account of the fact that my cannabis prescription stuffed up. Now, just to explain the whole medicinal cannabis saga here in Australia, we've only had medicinal cannabis available to us legally for a few years, whereas, of course, countries overseas have had it for a lot longer than us. We have a very, very poor setup here in Australia. We're not only bottom of the planet, geographically speaking, but we get treated like we're the bottom of it too by our own political leaders, and particularly by our health system. So, in order to get a cannabis prescription, I think it's been around for about 5 years now, you had to be terminally ill or on death's door. And so I got a prescription and immediately found that through use of cannabis I was able to have control back. I'm able to breathe normally or almost normally. I'm able to have control of my bladder and other parts of my body, and my fine motor skills improve. Without it, I'm in big trouble. I'm becoming mobile, basically, and not look. I haven't really slept for about 4 days. This is how it happens. It literally, I would think I would die actually. Eventually, if I don't get it into me. So I go to a cannabis clinic in Sydney, which you have to go to, and of course, because the system really doesn't want to encourage medicinal cannabis patients, you have to pay each time you have the consultation, and then they write the prescript out for you, and this happens every time. You have to pay each time, then they write the prescription out for you, then you wait many weeks for the script to arrive. Like my last prescription took 2 weeks. I mean, I'm in agony, absolute agony. I've been going to the pain clinic, and they wanted to prescribe a drug that could possibly turn down some of my nerve pain. The problem with that is I like to stay off Big Pharma as much as possible because I've got tainted blood, and a lot of us end up getting cancer of the liver and stuff. So we've got to really be careful about toxins on our livers. And so I went to this pain clinic, and they wanted to prescribe me a drug that had suicide as one of its big factors. I thought to myself, crikey, I haven't survived all of this to now be made suicidal by a Big Pharma drug. So currently I'm saying no to that. As a result, I'm not getting any sleep because it's pretty full on. So I was reliant on my cannabis prescription. It arrived last week, but once again, after going to great efforts to get to a pharmacy, because not many pharmacies in New South Wales dispense medicinal cannabis because it's such a rigmarole. And I went to the pharmacy, and my prescription was denied because the paperwork was incomplete. So the doctor that I paid money to, this happens all the time, okay? So the doctor I paid money to give me the prescription gives me the prescription with the incomplete paperwork. It can't be honoured by the pharmacist. I'm left empty-handed, and now I have to wait many more weeks. And actually what I did was I sacked that cannabis doctor. I've just had enough, okay? After many years, and having been a contaminated blood victim since a child, I'm nearly 50 now, and I'm in the final phase of my life. And so what I don't do is I don't do nonsense. Either you're going to be professional, or I won't deal with you. And so that was the end of that. And I'm currently now left without any medicinal cannabis. So wanting not to be stuck on my side, and nausea and pain and all this crap. The other day I made a effort to go out into the city, and I don't know, maybe I'd find someone who could help me, give me some cannabis. So I'm looking around, I don't even know any street dealers or anything like that. I don't even know what to look for. What do they look like? I know the stereotype from the movies. They've probably got, I know, lots of earrings on and bling bling and American insignia. I don't know. Anyway, I'm looking around, just going for a walk, and I hear, as I just looking around, and I hear, Charles. I think, crikey, what's that? Is this the FBI? Have I been busted? Is this the police? Do they know what I'm up to? I'm trying to, maybe score some medicinal cannabis. Not that I have done that before, but things are desperate. But no, a guy approaches, and he turns up, and this guy is built bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. As we say in Australia, he's built like a brick shithouse. And he comes up, and he says, Charles, I've been following you since you had only 500 followers. Only 500 followers. And Infected Blood Australia only had 500 followers. Oh my goodness, he was a follower. And he was just saying g'day. G'day, George, nice to meet you. And I think it's an indication that even though we have a media ban on Australia's deadliest medical scandal, the ABC, even though victims, tens of thousands of people who've been affected by this scandal, and people have written to the ABC for decades saying, look, please, would you investigate Australia's deadliest medical scandal? You are our public broadcaster, we do pay for you, and the ABC routinely have said no way. So there we are. That's the scenario when you're a victim of Australia's deadliest medical scandal. A lot of our victims say that the reason that we're never helped is because the government wants to kill everybody off. That way they don't have to face up to what they've done. And I think, I think they're probably on the money. I'm now of that view myself. So, as I've explained in previous videos, the contaminated blood scandal was global. And if you're a victim in Canada, you get helped. There's financial assistance, there's healthcare. I mean, I don't even have a doctor, for example. No doctors locally bulk bill anymore. So I've had to, I got kicked out of my last GP's practice because one of the doctors there, as a goodwill deed, was prepared not to bulk bill me. But then when his practice found out and he went on holiday, they basically told me to get lost. So I'm without a doctor. I am actually chronically ill. And so, as I said before, I think where it is with Australia's healthcare system, particularly for a tainted blood victim, I think there is no health system. So going without a doctor is, it is one thing, but pretty much what are they going to do for me? All they've ever done is get in my way anyway. The system doesn't have any help for someone like me. I'll give you an example. If you're a contaminated blood victim in the UK, there's counselling. The British Red Cross offer counselling. There's no counselling here. There's nothing here. Okay, there's no counselling. There's no services. We don't even get dental. In the UK, they get free dental. Everyone gets free dental over there, regardless if you're a tainted blood victim or not. But especially if you're a tainted blood victim. If you're a tainted blood victim, if you had a tainted blood transfusion, like I did when I was a kid, you're going to find that your teeth, okay, they implode, they decay, they go. And so, our teeth fall out. Well, there's no dental. You ring up and say, hi, New South Wales Health, I need to make a dental appointment like I did last week. Yeah, we got one for you in a few months away. A few months? I've got 2 broken molars. They're absolute agony. I can't eat properly. Oh, okay, we can send you a voucher. I said, oh, great, you fix my teeth with a voucher. And they said, no, we can only fix, not teeth, only fix tooth, only one tooth. So you're only allowed one tooth. Only one molar could be treated, so I'd still have the other molar. Anyway, I'm still waiting on that voucher. It hasn't turned up. But anyone watching internationally, if there is someone that would have sat through 9 minutes of this, it's probably rather boring for you. But we have a PR system in Australia, a public relations system that says there's a functional healthcare system and a thing called Medicare. If we really have a functional healthcare system, a thing called Medicare or universal health or whatever it's supposed to be, why is it there are hardly any bulk billing doctors these days for regular Joes like me? People who are pensioners. What's that about? Yeah, like every time I go to see a GP, I got to pay. Anyway, I might be on the hunt for a new one. I might not be. I mean, I could, if I die, I die, frankly. As I said to you before, I'm not particularly afraid of death anymore. We've had hundreds of people I've known from this group die, and they never got any help. They never got any meaningful help, and their deaths were hastened by it. So, yeah, this is the score. Coming to you from Infected Blood Australia, this is how it is. This medicinal cannabis that we have system in Australia is a complete and total sham. It is a fraud on Australia. We pay taxes for people to administrate this disaster. Chronically ill people, terminally ill people waiting weeks for a medication that might help them go to the toilet, or might help them sleep that night, or might help them be able to walk. Yeah, and they wait weeks and it never arrives. What an absolute disgrace, Australia. What an absolute disgrace to our governments. And I'll see you in court, my friends. Not long now, and boy, can't I wait. I can't wait to sue the Australian government. Cannot wait. They've murdered people. We've got the evidence. They knowingly distributed contaminated blood to patients and even to children. What scum. What sort of human being would knowingly inject a child with HIV or hepatitis C, eh? When I was a kid, they gave me an expired platelet transfusion. It was past its shelf-by date. It had no therapeutic value whatsoever, and they took it knowingly from a guy that they knew to be a drug user. Eh? Yeah, right. Thanks a lot. And then you know what? After they found out that my donor was infected because I alerted them, or so, they found out, you know what they did? They actually continued taking blood from them. And they gave that blood to haemophiliacs. They made the medicine factor 8 from my infected donor's blood, the guy that basically infected me as a kid. And I've put that in my statement to this inquiry that I've been a witness in, the infected blood inquiry in the United Kingdom, because there's a potentially that could be the case that contaminated blood from Australia was sent to the UK. And there's a patient over there saying that he may have actually acquired hepatitis C and liver cancer. He's had to have a liver transplant as a result of receiving Australian tainted blood. So I was asked to be a witness over there. You can see my statement on the front page of infectedbloodaustralia.com, where I go into everything that happened down here, or I answer questions that I was asked. And when you read it, you realise we've been fighting a war for decades. We've been defending ourselves. The Australian government's done everything it can. Australian Cross Lifeblood, of course, part of the cover-up. And the blood products and biotech company CSL, the $140 billion Goliath, part of the cover-up, okay? And so why are they covering up? Well, because they know they'd all go to jail. That's why it's been covered up 40 years, because they did it knowingly. Go to the evidence they didn't want you to see at infectedbloodaustralia.com. There's a section there, the evidence they didn't want you to see. Have a look. Have a look at the timeline. There's a timeline there. Takes a little while to load because it's via a third-party app. But when it loads, just have a look and ask yourself this question. When you look at the timeline, the history of their choice of blood donors in Australia, ask yourself a question. Was Australia's deadliest medical scandal, HIV and hepatitis C contaminated blood transfusions and blood products, was it really an accident? Hey? And is it really an accident that in the 21st century, someone like myself who is disabled now without medicinal cannabis has to wait weeks and weeks for his prescription, and when it arrives it's faulty, and when I do get it I have to pay hundreds of dollars more than I would if I went to an illegal street dealer, which I don't go to. Is that really an accident, or is it really designed to demoralize? Is it really designed to basically just persuade you, you know what, you should be coerced and go back into Big Pharma. Go back into it. Even though we'll give you lectures about, not getting addicted to painkillers, and we'll have a doctor there who'll make lots of noises and do that low voice they do to sound all intelligent and all the rest of it. They're just glorified drug pushers, right? Is it really an accident that medicinal cannabis and this whole damn health system demoralizes patients? I don't think so. I think it's part of the plan, and that's been my life. My life's been about fighting this system, and it's coming to a head very soon. If you'd like to support our call for a Royal Commission of Inquiry, you can click on the link in our bio or in the description below. And I'd appreciate your support, because we are about to take this corrupt health system on, and we'd very much like Australia's support. Thank you.